big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the tap is.
What's poppin', everybody? My apologies. I forgot that there was a live that was scheduled, and technically it was scheduled unlisted, but I guess when the time came up for me to go at the scheduled time, it appeared that I was supposed to be live at that moment. I was working on a video for you guys, which I will be dropping sometime between tonight and tomorrow. But if you are new here, welcome, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Click that notification bell, select all, so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you're a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, now let's get into this hot pour up. So it is a wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And there has been a lot of talk for the past, I don't even know how long, since Blueface was incarcerated and spending his time in Click Click City. We have been hearing that Blueface has been coming home for the longest time, so much so that it is almost like believing in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, okay? Neither of those exist, so we thought that his release date was not going to exist either, all right? Now, it does appear that there has been movement in his Nevada case. Now, if you don't remember, Blueface was in trouble in Nevada. He was a part of the nightclub shooting that happened, and he was also sued by the nightclub, by the victim who was pew-pewed in the hand, and sued by a gentleman whose car was crashed when the escape was happening. They sued him. The gentleman won his lawsuit. That was the $1.17 million that Blueface lost recently. That's the lien. The nightclub Euphoric has the lien on his home that is about 15, rounded up, maybe about 15 million, maybe 16 million, because it has been accruing $3,000 and some change with interest per day that it has not been taken care of. So he does have a lien on his home. Don't believe the hype and don't believe the lies, because I've pulled the paperwork, and when I do my video and I do my dance, y'all gonna see it. Now, the Nevada case, he was on probation for, and he was already on probation in LA for a nightclub beating where he beat a security guard at a club because he didn't know who he was. And so him and Krishan were in Vegas. So that's probation in LA, probation in Vegas. And so him and Krishan were in Las Vegas, and a fan walked up and was like, "Oh, I love you, Krishan, but F Blueface." It is being alleged that Krishan socked the girl in the face, and Blueface took her phone, and the schoolyard started schoolyarding. The girl sued Blueface, or was suing Blueface. And because of that incident, he was violated in Nevada. That's where we saw him banned from the corridors and all of that stuff out there. He could not go to the strip clubs. He could not go to the gambling casinos. He was not allowed in the Nevada corridor because of that. Well, the violation in Nevada also violated him in LA, which is why he is sitting in Click Click City now. And allegedly, because of bad behavior, he has had his release date pushed back, because we've heard he was supposed to come home in a couple of months. Then all of a sudden it just kept changing. And now, as we stand, it says December of this year. But Blueface's current girlfriend, Angela, who is a high school sweetheart of his, she was dating Blueface back when they were 14 years old, which is before baby mama number one, Jade and Alexis, came into play. It is rumored and alleged by Angela that she was dating Blueface first. Jaden got pregnant to keep him. We don't know all of the ins and outs and intricate details of what happened, but what we do know is Angela has been around for a long time. Now, if you don't know this, let me put you up on the Hot Henny, because Carlissa was telling us about a young lady that went by the name of Miss A. That's what she was calling her, Miss A. And so she was telling us about Miss A, who was in nursing school, who was the one that Blueface was, really smitten with. I'm scrolling to see if I could find the post that we put up on that Girl Henny Reviews of the care package. I hope we put that package video up, because sometimes we just be busy and we miss some stuff. But anyway, so Angela, who when Blueface broke down, he had a first string, a second string, and a third string when it came down to his women, used to be the third string. Well, now that Jaden has backed up from Blueface because Blueface slept with her best friend Sadie, who happened to be the baby mama to his road manager, Bravo. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Okay. So it's a mess. It's a mess. And I'm trying to catch y'all up. But y'all, if you're not following me over on the press box, then you're missing all of these intricate plot twists and details. But anyway, so Jaden said, I've had enough. You smashed my homie. I'm done with you. I'm going over here. I'm going to go play with the girlies in the lady pond. And Krishan backed up from him as well and was like, I'm going to be out here. She was on some Blueface. I got to find a new bae. And he was all by himself, Mr. Lonely, and then enter Miss A from third string to first string now. Now, we're going to get into his paperwork because this is the part that a lot of people are not understanding, because there's been people that have been hitting me up like, Henny, how is this even possible? Well, it's possible because Blueface, how is it possible that he's coming home? I don't see it. The release date has not changed. Well, let's get into it. Okay. Here is Blueface's second amendment to his conviction. All right. And this was updated on October 8th of this year. So if you remember, in the beginning, there were a lot of restrictions that were placed on him. And so Nevada has been making some movement in his case. Now, all of this time, Nevada has not said anything at all about his case since he was arrested and all of that. They didn't say anything about. Now, let me get this footage up for you. All right, let's share this tab instead. This is, and we're going to go back here because we need to.
Search clauses, I have one special search necessary for your interstate. This time, the court will proceed with the sentencing of Mr. Porter.
Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the sentencing of him. If you miss anything, it's fine. Don't worry about it, because I'm going to be doing a very intricate breakdown of things for y'all in the video that I'm going to be posting again sometime tonight and today.
And as per negotiations, we will go ahead. I'm going to give an opportunity of probation to Mr. Porter. Same discussion with you, Mr. Porter, that I had with another gentleman this morning. You are here and doing probation here unless and until you are affirmatively approved, meaning given actual permission by the parole probation department to travel out of state.
So this is when Blueface was placed on house arrest in Vegas, okay?
Whether it be a travel pass initially or your interstate compact, but you will have to be here doing your probation. And I'm going to go through the terms and conditions and your underlying sentence and all the specifics. And I want to emphasize something there before I even get to that point.
So she's going to go through all of his sentencings, and I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit, and we're going to get into those things.
There's no confusion on that point. And if you choose to roll guns, then that is the guns. You know you cannot. Your history may be familiar already with some of those things. But the main point that I have for you here is the weapons, is the guns. You know you cannot have guns. There's no confusion on that point. And if you choose to roll guns, then that's your choice. But I will tell you, if you get caught doing that, you get brought back here on any kind of probation violation, especially anything involving weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. You are playing with your liberty.
Now, the significant amount of time that she's talking about is 5 years.
Your life, obviously, but you're playing with your liberty if you're going to have guns and do anything that's going to violate your probation in that regard. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. I don't want there to be any confusion. I hear people who say things about, I didn't realize I couldn't, do this or that or have pictures with them or whatever. No, 0 guns around you, where you are of any kind, and that needs to be quite clear. Somebody just handed me the order out. And it looks like Sahara to Russell does not cover downtown. So I'm going to account for that. So I'm going to adjudicate Mr. Porter this time guilty of discharge firearm at or into occupied structure via aircraft or watercraft His underlying sentence will be a minimum of 24, maximum of 60 months in Nevada Department of Corrections, suspended with probation not to exceed 36 months. He will have to pay the $25 return assessment fee, $3 DNA collection fee, $150 DNA analysis fee. As we noted, no restitution being requested. We do have, I'm not going to impose a fine. I do have the standard conditions of probation, as I noted, including any weapon requirements applicable. Special conditions will include, and we'll just start there because that was the discussion, that he is ordered to stay out of the strip corridor. And he's also ordered to stay out of any gaming facility, institutions, or what would be indicated as the downtown corridor, the equivalent of the strip corridor. So effectively, and again, until he interstate compacts, he can only be in those areas if he has work application or some other legitimate basis to be there, not as a pastime,
as you just heard, he was ordered, and this was back in, let's go back and see the date. This was 2 years ago when this order was put into place, that he was not allowed in the gambling corridors. He was not allowed in the strip corridors unless it was for employment. So now we come over here to, let's go here because I shared this first on my IG page. So this is the October 6th minutes. Okay, so they're meeting, which means that if he's meeting with Nevada, because Nevada was running things concurrent with his LA case, because remember, they violated him because he ended up in Click City in LA, only for them to reinstate him, quash their warrant and all of that. And so he had to give them, I think it was 30 days, and they ran it concurrent. Well, now they're meeting again in October, and this is coming after all of this information is leaking out that, hey, packages are being sent. Hey, there's a party that's being planned and all of that, right? So it says Mr. Bryant advises defendant is currently in California. Colloquy, I can never say that word right. Mr. Deange submitted the court order out of strip and downtown corridor lifted and replaced with defendant can be present in the corridor for employment purposes only. Okay, amended judgment of conviction to be prepared. All right. Now, again, this is on October 6th. So this is where the paperwork is moving, and you're starting to see that there is something that is happening. Now, we're going to get into this next document. Okay. And this document is dated October 8th as being filed, right? So it's the second amendment of judgment conviction, where this was put into place a while ago, but they did amend all of this, where it's saying that, you know, he previously appeared before the court with counsel and entered a plea of guilty to crimes of 2 count of discharging a firearm at or into occupied structure, vehicle, aircraft, or watercraft, and count 4 of battery. All right. So that's what he pled guilty to. As you heard in the courtroom, they said, you know, the defendant lives in California and will seek interstate compact through parole and probation, which he did get, because if you go back to his 2 little monkeys jumping on the bed video, you see he has the big old box and he's in his house. And how you can remember that video is because that's the video where he had the strippers in the house and his son was in the pantry and he was trying to ask him if he was gay, you know, why he wasn't out there with the strippers. He was on house arrest then. Okay. All of the orders, you know, the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA analysis fee, all of that stuff was put in there too, to a minimum of 24 months, a maximum of 60 months in a Nevada Department of Corrections facility that was suspended. He was placed on probation for an indeterminate period, not to exceed 36 months. Okay. So the defendant must comply with the following special conditions, which were to stay out of the strip corridor, any gambling institutions, and downtown corridor. Defendant can only be in those areas if defendant has work application or some other legitimate base to be there. No contact whatsoever with Mr. Trailer or his family, direct or indirect. Now, Mr. Trailer is the person who won the $1.17 million suit against Blueface. So that's the victim in the case that was pumed in the hand. All right. Complete an impulse control counseling class. So we don't know if he completed that in Click Click City or not, but this is one of his requirements that he is going to have to do when he comes home, according to Nevada stipulations, because we don't have LA stipulations for him as of yet. Okay, so he has to go into anger management. No use, possession, or control of alcohol or drugs, including marijuana, during the terms of probation. With this right here, I feel like his mom is planning this big Blueface celebrity bash, is what she calls it, saying that she's going to have all of these people there. It's $30 a ticket for a Blueface coming home party, but nobody has a date as to when this party is supposed to actually take place and go down. But I guess it's going to be a dry party because nobody can consume alcohol around him. He can't be around alcohol. He can't be around marijuana. He can't be around none of that stuff. Okay, none of it. He also has to maintain full-time employment. So this is where I don't know if Rap Queens West comes into play and all of this boxing stuff, if that comes into play as full-time employment or what. He also has to abide by any curfew that is imposed. But the biggest one right here is he has to report to P&P, all right, by Wednesday of this week. I guess that was back then, but I want you to pay attention to this stipulation right here that I am about to read to y'all. You shall submit your digital storage media or any digital storage media that you have access or use, including computers, handheld communication devices, and any network applications associated with those devices, including social media and remote storage services, to a search, and shall provide all passwords, unlock codes, and account information associated with those items with or without a search warrant by the Division of Parole and Probation or its agent. So parole and probation can go into his devices at any particular point in time, and they don't need a warrant. And he has to give up the passwords. He has to give up the passwords to anything that he has that is digital. Okay. Now, when we get down to where right here, this is his stipulations that he's already had in place. When we get down to right here, it says, therefore, probation is reinstated, further court ordered, bench warrant quashed, right? Court noted defendant is still on probation in this case, and admonished defendant to report to parole and probation within 48 hours of release from custody. So he has to report for his Las Vegas probation within 48 hours of being released from the LA facility. All right. Therefore, on the 6th day of October, the defendant, not present in court with counsel, Richard Lafayette Bryant Esquire, and pursuant to a hearing proceeding and good cause appearing to amend judgment of conviction, now therefore court ordered out of the strip club, out of strip and downtown corridor, lifted and replaced with defendant can be present in the corridors for employment purposes only, and it is signed off on the 8th of October. So that has never changed, you guys. That has never changed. So we all had it wrong. Adam, myself, we all had it wrong because he is not allowed. He's never been allowed to be in the corridors. So for them to say that, I don't know why they put that in there, because that was a part of his original order. But the main point that I'm trying to get at, y'all, is he cannot be on social media acting like a tyrant. He can't be texting, threatening things or any of that stuff. You got to think he's got to turn over all of those devices. So while we talking about throwing parties and all of that, you need to worry about his entourage that be around him and his homeboys that are going to be smoking weed, drinking alcohol. You know, we know that Jaden likes to sip. We know that Ange likes to sip. We know that all of these people around him, okay, including his father, which, by the way, let's play. Now, if you follow me on Pressbox, you guys have already seen this video. Let's play the sneak dissing and the shots that were taken by his father. And this is kind of odd coming from him because we caught him loud, live, and in color, okay, doing his own little thing at one of the football games. But I digress. Let's get into this content, y'all. Hold on, let me get you some sound.
Y'all, top of the AM, woke up really excited about today, this month, and next month. My son will be home soon, y'all. and I'm really excited. Okay, he may not be home for Halloween. He's definitely gonna be home for Thanksgiving, y'all. All right, when he come home, all he needs to do is be around his girls, kids, and very respectful people. Okay, anybody using drugs, popping pills, smoking dope, doing any crazy drugs, he don't need to be around them at this time. Okay, please.
Now, what he forgot to mention is anybody smoking Mary Jane can't be around him neither, but let him continue.
Please, y'all help me out. Happy holidays to y'all. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out. Peace.
Now, what had people in a kerfuffle about this statement that he made is because Blueface's mom has alleged that his dad likes to go skiing down the slopes. And there is a video that was very suspect about how he was at the game and we heard it. He left the game, went to the car. We heard it. So I hope that if there is anything going on, because that is alleged, everything is alleged because we weren't there. So we don't know what really happened, but that's what it sounded like. You know, it was a little cold out there. People were saying it was cold. So he's probably because it was cold outside, but everybody around him needs to be clean and sober. Everybody. So taking a shot or a dig at one particular person or the other when everybody around them has their own little vice that he can't be around, yeah, we need to fall back from that, okay? But Blueface is definitely on his way home very, very soon. As you saw, stipulations are being placed in Vegas. Now, people are asking me if Blueface is going to come home on parole from California. I'm not too 100% sure on that, only because he wasn't there for 2 years. He was supposed to serve 4 years. I'm not sure if they're going to add the years that he was already on probation to this term, and maybe that's why he's not getting out until December. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to see, because it says that he's eligible for parole on December of 2025. So he's due to be paroled soon, but he may be on parole and probation. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the paperwork and with his release. And then I will give you a more accurate update when the time comes. But as of right now, we know that he still has his Nevada probation that he is going to have to take care of as soon as he gets out within 48 hours. So that's the Blueface, update. Now, when it comes down to Wack 100 and Adam 22 and White Pickle LLC and Luce Cannon, there has been some developments that have happened within this case that is going on. Now, if you don't remember, what had happened was Jay Reed had filed a lawsuit against Adam and White Pickle. Now, in the original lawsuit, Wack was not named as a suspect in the case or a person who inflicted harm on him because his case has since been amended. Yes, honey. Let me get that first filing up for y'all so that y'all can see for yourselves what I'm talking about when I'm talking about what I'm talking about, because y'all know I know what I be talking about. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so this is Jay Reed's. Let me put it up here on the screen. Let me get my watermark up here for y'all. I know this is the old school watermark, the old school Henny glasses up here. I know, I miss it. But anyway, so this is the original lawsuit that Jay Reed, okay, and it was against White Pickle, Adam Graham Mason, doing business as No Jumper Podcast, and then he had his does and all of that in there, right? Right. So when we get into the allegations, he talks about Adam, he talks about White Pickle, and in the first cause, he talks about Adam and the property and the business, saying that he was personally deprived of his property, which would be cash and valuables that exceeded the cost of $10,000. In the second cause, he was going after negligence against all defendants. Matter of fact, let's just read it, okay? Let's just read the general allegations so that you can see what's different. Let me not skip and skim on y'all. Let me give y'all what y'all came here for, which is the Henny. So on or about December 26th of 2024, plaintiff was lawfully present on the premises located at 2508 North Ontario Street in Burbank, California, when the plaintiff was violently assaulted and battered by agents, employees, guests, and or affiliates of defendant White Pickle, owned and or controlled by defendant Adam Graham Mason, right? At all relevant times, defendant White Pickle LLC and or Graham Mason knew or in the exercise of reasonable care should have known that its agents, employees, affiliates, and guests had a history of violent, criminal, or dangerous conduct and pose a foreseeable risk of harm to others. Defendant White Pickle LLC and or defendant Adam Graham Mason were aware of complaints, law enforcement activity, or other indicators that its guests, affiliates, employees, agents, and or its associates created a dangerous or unsafe condition on the property. Despite this knowledge, defendant White Pickle and or defendant Adam Graham Mason negligently failed to exercise reasonable care in monitoring and supervising the premises while hosting podcast events. As a direct and proximate result of the assault and battery, plaintiff sustained severe physical and emotional injuries, including but not limited to his body and facial injuries, resulting in bruised eyes, broken nose, and concussion, as well as mental pain and suffering, medical expenses, and other damages. Additionally, he was deprived of his personal property, cash, and values in excess of $10,000. Now, in the first cause, which is premises liability against all defendants, he names only Adam White Pickle. When we get down to the second cause of action, which is negligence against all defendants, again, he only names Adam and White Pickle. And when we get to the third cause of negligent hiring, retention, or supervision, again, it is only Adam and White Pickle. And on the fourth cause of battery against all defendants, he names only Adam and White Pickle. Let me read that portion to you right now. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 27. Defendants White Pickle LLC and or defendant Adam Graham Mason and those 1 through 50 by and through their agents or employees intentionally, unlawfully, and offensively touched plaintiff without consent. Plaintiff suffered multiple injuries to his body and face. Defendant White Pickle LLC and or defendant Adam Graham Mason conduct was a substantial factor in causing harm. As a direct and proximate result, plaintiff suffered the damages alleged herein. As a direct and proximate result of the assault and battery, plaintiff sustained severe physical and emotional injuries, including but not limited to facial injuries, broken nose, bruised eyes, and a concussion. Additionally, he was deprived of his property. So pay attention to this fourth cause of action right here in this, sorry, you guys, this fourth cause of action right here. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do-si-do on over here to this amended complaint that Jay Reed or Jamel Reed has put on the record, which is this one right here. And this was filed on September 24th of 2025, which is this year. Oh, let me go back here and show y'all when this was originally filed. Okay, so this was filed, the original one was filed August 5th of 2025, right? Now we get over here to this amended one that was filed on September 24th, all right? So everything is the same in here, the alter egos and all of that stuff, the allegations and all of that is going on in here. Everything is the same except for this part, cause of action, fourth cause of action right here. Okay, so it says now plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 34. Defendant White Pickle and or defendant Adam Graham Mason, Cash Jones, also known as Luce Cannon, and Tremaine Williams, also known as Wack 100. Now, first of all, stop and put a pin in this right here, because number one, somebody did not proofread what it is that was put into these pages, because had they proofread anything, they would have known that they had the aliases, the AKAs wrong. But what was not mentioned the first time was Wack, or Luce. Both of them are now mentioned in count 4. Even though there is a wrong mix-up when it comes down to the AKA, which means that this lawsuit would have to be amended again to correct and reflect the record properly. But now they're being named, and they're being named under the battery. Okay, now let's continue. Plaintiff suffered multiple injuries to his body and face. Defendants Cash Jones, and we'll just go ahead and just use their real names because we know who he's talking about. Defendant Cash Jones and Tremaine Williams, along with White Pickle LLC and or defendant Adam Graham Mason, conduct was a substantial factor in causing harm. So now he is bringing into the fold Wack and Luce Cannon as where he wasn't before. But there is another twist to this, because y'all know I wasn't going to come and just tell y'all that part that they was just added to the case. Oh, no. Nay. Because y'all hold on to y'all seats. Do y'all remember Marciano? Henny glasses in the chat if y'all remember Marciano. Now, if you don't remember the one that's been going by the name Mauricio Marciano, which one is it? Y'all tell me in the chat. That's the gentleman that was pummeled and stripped butt naked in that alleyway. Well, come to find out, that's not his name. His name is Evan Siller. He has now filed suit as well. And he has filed suit against Adam, Wack, Tremaine, it's Luce Cannon, and White Pickle as well. And he's doing a demand for jury by trial. His lawsuit was filed on September 24th of this year as well. Okay? Now, he is all for premise liability, negligence, assault and battery, and negligent hiring, retention, and supervision. Child, let's get into it, okay? Here is his version of the general allegations, right? On or about December 20th, 2024, plaintiff, which would be Marciano, which is Evan, aka Evan, right? Okay. They were up there at no jumper, right? So he says, at all relevant times, defendant White Pickle and or defendant Adam Graham Mason knew and or exercised a reasonable care, should have known that its agents and employees and affiliates and guests have a history of violent crime, right? So he's alleging the same things that Jay Reed is alleging. But when we get down to the bottom, it says, as a direct and proximate result of the assault and battery, plaintiff sustained severe permanent physical and emotional injuries that have left him incapacitated and unable to care for himself and suffering medical expenses and other damages. Now, I know there was a lot of hoopla going back and forth about whether or not this gentleman was in the hospital and what actually happened to him. But here we are reading in the court documents, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we are reading right now in these court docs is that he did indeed suffer severe permanent physical. The emotional part we already know, but permanent physical damage that left him incapacitated and unable to care for himself. Child, they beat the fuck out of that man in that video and we saw it. So I am not surprised. And I don't say that to be, insensitive to what happened, but God dang, we saw it. He got beat worse than Jay Reed did, and Jay Reed was supposed to be the target. Now, the only thing with his case is whoever drew up their documents for them at Morgan & Morgan, they did the same thing with the AKAs. They said Cash Jones, also known as Luce Cannon, and Tremaine Williams, also known as Wack 100, right? Okay, so he's saying that the defendants Cash Jones and Tremaine Williams, along with White Pickle and or defendant Adam Graham Mason, conducted with their conduct was a substantial factor in causing harm to him. Okay. And then he reiterates down there, as a direct and proximate result of the assault and battery, the plaintiff sustained severe permanent physical and emotional damage that left him incapacitated and incapable to care for himself and suffering medical expenses and other damages. Additionally, said conduct was willful, malicious, and done with a conceited disregard for the plaintiff's right. The plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages in an amount sufficient to punish and deter such conduct. Now, this was filed on September 24th on behalf of who we knew to be Maurice. Y'all know the name, because I always mess up the name that they say. But his name is not that, you guys. His name is Evan. Prayers to Evan, because they really did beat the shit out of that man. I mean, it was horrible. Now, they're holding Adam responsible for people who are not understanding. Adam is being held responsible because Wack is considered to be an employee of No Jumper. Even if he calls himself a partner, he is still connected to No Jumper. And Adam acknowledged that he saw Jay Reed and Evan before he pulled off. Adam left them there in the alley thinking everything was all right. And then Luce Cannon beat the shit out of them. Child, it's about to go down. I'm going to keep my eye on this court case because, child, it's about to go down. It is going down. Now that's two. That's two. And there's footage. I want to see why Wack not talking about this. Now, I done been out of the Wack sector for a little while. Y'all know I was dealing with Diddy and then trying to find my way back to you, baby. Anyway, he's out here worrying about OGs in New York doing a drop your flag campaign. He's out here beefing with Styles P, with shout out to the Locks Team 914 LOX. Everywhere we go. Never mind. Anyway. And then now he's worrying about Pooh Shiesty and trying to spread lies on Pooh Shiesty, but you ain't talking about your court cases. Why is that? Why are you and Adam? I mean, I get it. It's an ongoing case, but y'all not even acknowledging that there's a lawsuit coming. And Adam, you continue to do business with this man. What did I tell y'all? I told y'all when all of this came down that Adam was in a trick bag and he was going to learn a valuable lesson about dealing with Wack and his shenanigans and the bullshit that happened, because I don't care what nobody says. I don't care. He knew what was coming. He knew Luce was going to put hands and feet and gun, pistol whippings on people out there, and he want to say he left. He ain't leave. He ain't go nowhere. He was sitting right there in that Mercedes truck. He sure was. Remember, I showed y'all the footage. Y'all better go back and watch. He all up in everybody else's business, but I've been telling y'all his house of cards is crumbling. It's crumbling. Your credibility is shot, bruh. Now, what's going to happen if Adam decides, you know what, we survived this lawsuit and we sever business? You're done. Adam, when are you going to see that your culture vulture ways are not paying off for you? They're not. And I didn't want to get into this, but I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. Like, Adam, stay out of shit, okay? Mind your business. Them OGs out there in New York who are doing the drop your flag challenge are doing it for a good cause, because the YNs out there are wilding out. They are drilling hard out there. So they're trying to show them like, hey, you ain't got to be a part of this. You don't have to do this. We ain't got to kill one another. Drop your flag and go do something else with your life. So for you to pick at it, say something negative about it, like, Adam, shut the fuck up and do what you do best. Go worry about your white pickle. Speaking of pickles, I told y'all we was going to talk about that girl, Jeanita, right? Now, if you don't know who Jeanita is, child, let me remind you, because I know some people's is like, girl, who is that you are talking about? Because y'all don't be paying attention when I be doing shit sometimes. Y'all don't. But Jeanita is the woman who snipped her boyfriend's testicles. And a warrant was issued for her. Yeah. We have an update on her. But for those who do not know, because they were not following what was going on, let me go ahead and let me get this up here on the screen for y'all so y'all could be caught up. Hopefully it ain't
cost-effective pricing plans. Comparing
the commercial when we rocking and rolling.
Warrant is out for the arrest of a Toledo woman accused of breaking into a man's home, then cutting one of his testicles. Toledo police looking for Jeanita Hopings. We're going to show you a picture from 2012 of Hopings. Police believe the 45-year-old woman went to the home of someone she knows yesterday, kicked open the door. The guy living there told police he heard someone breaking in, so he ran down the stairs, but he didn't have any clothes on. That's when Hopings allegedly attacked him, cutting one of his testicles. He had to go to the hospital for treatment. Hopings is charged with felonious assault and aggravated burglary.
Now, prayers. Okay, prayers. Now, since then, she did have a warrant for her arrest that was issued. She has since turned herself in and she has gone before a judge. Now, Jeanita will be due back in court on October 16th. But what we don't have is we don't have the damn story, you guys. We don't know why she did it. Okay, she showed up to court on the 10th, and it's just saying that she's ordered to appear in person on Thursday, October 16th at 9 a.m. in the Toledo Municipal Court. Okay, but it don't give us no story. They are not giving us the story on this one, and I want to know why, Jeanita. Why are we snipping testicles? Why are we snipping the testicles of the man? Now, I did also do a little digging because I was curious because they keep showing her in some type of jail get up, prison get up. And I wanted to know what in the world has this woman been into? Hold on one second, y'all. Sorry, y'all. That was apple juice. Now, I was curious what kind of rap sheet this woman has because the news told us that it was all traffic violations. And guess what? It was. Outside of all of this stuff is motor vehicle, misdemeanor stuff, traffic lights, not stopping at the stop sign, exceeding the speed limit, accidents, turning rules violated, her license being suspended, seat belts, typical traffic stuff. And then we get up here to this case right here. And it's okay. So she gave false information to a police officer issuing a traffic ticket to her one time, right? But then you get up here and all of a sudden she's got 2 felony counts. What did this man do? I got questions. Why did she snip his nuts, y'all? And how did she get there? I think that's the one that we all want to know right there. Like, okay, so boom, whatever he did, it was egregious enough and agitating enough for her to go and kick his front door in, right? And then he's naked upstairs doing whatever he's doing. What was you doing? Like, I really do want to know what he was doing upstairs. And he comes running down the stairs. But how did y'all get into, you went to confront the noise that was happening. How did she get to your nutsack? How? Did you fall backwards when you saw it was her with your legs gapped open or something? How did she snip his testicle? And what did she use? I'm thinking she used a scalpel. Had to be a medical grade scalpel that was used because ain't no way. It ain't no way. Not he wanted her to, she wanted him to sing in a falsetto. I'm done. I am done. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not. Okay. Let me see. Did I cover everything? I covered everything that was on the thumbnail. It wasn't a lot to be covered. Let's see. Oh, We could talk about the gentleman. Hold on. Let's talk about Derek Groves real quick, okay? Let's talk about Derek Groves. Now, Derek Groves, if you don't know who he is, he was one of the Louisiana escapees who got out, okay? Since then, they have said that, okay, let me open that too. I'm opening everything up because I didn't plan on speaking on him, but I'm going to speak on him since we still here, okay? All right. Might as well, right? Okay. So Derek Groves was one of the Louisiana captives inmates that escaped. And he was the last one who was still on the run. Okay. So let's get into Derek Groves. Damn it. They trick me every time. Here we go with them playing commercials. We ain't asked them for no damn commercial break. Okay, here we go.
Events there today. First up, are you going to find all these guys?
Oh, yeah. We're
From the White House, as you are joining the president for some events there today. First up, are you going to find all these guys?
Oh, yeah, we are going to find them. First, I want to thank the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, ATF, the Louisiana State Police, Troop NOLA, NOPD. We have got hundreds of law enforcement agents that are working 24/7 around the clock hunting these folks down. We were able to grab 3 of them right close within the first 24 hours after the jailbreak. Of course, you got to remember, Sandra, we didn't know that they had left the jail, that they had walked out of the front door for about 10 hours. We didn't get that report.
How do you not know that they were missing for 10 hours? Somebody please make it make sense. Y'all wasn't, see, this is just like what happened with the Epstein case. This is just like what happened with the Epstein case. People not doing their jobs because y'all supposed to be checking on them inmates. Y'all supposed to be doing rounds. People wasn't doing no rounds.
From the sheriff. And so those inmates had about a 10-hour lead on law enforcement, but they're doing, our folks are doing a great job, and we're going to hunt them down.
And how are y'all not doing cell inspections? Because they're saying that this dude, Derek Groves, he escaped from a hole behind the toilet. So how do they walk out of the front door? Like, how did they get out the front door? I got questions.
And of course, you got to, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Governor, from the looks of it, you can tell us, it doesn't look like this was a sophisticated, jailbreak.
Right.
I mean, they're even bragging about how easy it was to get out of there. How did this happen?
Well, look, I think if you look at the criminal justice system as a whole in New Orleans, you will see the problem. Several years ago, George Soros came over to New Orleans like Santa Claus and unpacked the district attorney, 6 judges, and a sheriff. And this is what progressive criminal justice system looks like, Sandra. This is what happens when those people promise that to keep criminals out of jail. Sadly, you get 10 of the most dangerous inmates that are in jail in Louisiana, they get to escape.
So we're blaming this on politics and not structure. Right. Okay. So that was him, right? But now Derek was finally the last one captured. They captured everyone except for him. Okay. So I'm going to read to y'all what it says. It says the last remaining fugitive who was part of a group of New Orleans jail inmates that escaped earlier this year was involved in a standoff with authorities in Atlanta. So he done made his way all the way to Atlanta, child. Derek Groves was taken into custody following the incident. The Louisiana State Police said, through a coordinated effort involving Crime Stoppers, Greater New Orleans, the United States Marshal Service, and Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security, Louisiana State Police, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, and New Orleans Police Department, the Atlanta Department, and other federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. 28-year-old Derek Grove was apprehended on Wednesday, October 8th in Atlanta, Georgia, after a brief standoff. Okay, Groves, 28, a 4-time convicted killer who has been on the run for 5 months, and 9 other inmates escaped on May 16th from New Orleans Parish Justice System. Now, listen, He's been gone all this time since May. It's October. He was 5 months on the land. Okay, I was deeply concerned that someone that had been convicted of a double homicide and was supposed to be in Angola would not go easily. So he did not go violently. He did give them a little bit of a standoff for a moment, but I do have for y'all also the footage from his hearing of when he went for his extradition.
Groves? Yeah, he's right here. If you come up, sir. I'm right here. Have a seat, if you don't mind. Good morning.
One or the green one?
You right, Mama Clip. Hey, Mama Clip. Hey, Nino. Hey, everybody.
So, sir, I'm Judge Wolf. This is your extradition. I'm going to go over your rights so you can decide whether you want to waive extradition or not. You're wanted out of the state of Louisiana for aggravated escape. I'm going to explain to you first what happens if you decide to have an extradition hearing, then what will happen if you decide not to have one. So you have the right to an extradition hearing if you choose. You have the right to hire an attorney to prepare for and conduct that hearing. If that's your choice, I will postpone the hearing for a reasonable time, 60 to 90 days, for you to obtain counsel. The law does not give you the right to a public defender or appointed attorney for purposes of extradition. If you choose to have the hearing, I will reset your case 60 to 90 days to allow your attorney to prepare for the hearing. At the hearing, there will be 3 issues. Are you the person named in the warrant? Did the governor of Louisiana sign the warrant? And what you're charged with in Louisiana, is that a crime in that state? I cannot consider your guilt, innocence, the merits of the case, or evidence connected with the underlying case. If after the hearing I determine that the requesting state, Louisiana, has met its burden of showing those 3 things, then they would have approximately 15 business days to pick you up. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. If after the hearing I were to find that Louisiana failed to prove those 3 things, then you would be released. You also have the right to waive or not have that extradition hearing if you choose. If you waive your hearing, then Louisiana has approximately 15 business days from today to come get you. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. However, you may be held up to 30 days before being released. Regardless whether you're released in Georgia, you are subject to arrest again at any time as long as this Louisiana warrant remains active. So even if you are released, you may wish to consider returning to Louisiana to have the matter resolved. Also, the media is here. I want to let you know they filed the appropriate paperwork. It's called Rule 11, and that was signed by one of our judges, our chief judge, and so they are here as well. You also have the right to remain silent. So let me just ask, though, do you have any questions about your extradition rights? No. And do you want to challenge extradition, or do you want to return to Louisiana?
I want to return where I'm from.
You want to go back to Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do find you free.
So he agreed to go back to where he was from. You want me to do Drake and UMG next, girl? I'll see. We might have to go to Twitch for that one. So this hearing happened on 3 days ago. Well, yesterday, Derek, I believe it was yesterday, was picked up and he was extradited back. But it's not so much the fact that he was picked up and extradited that has caused a lot of kerfuffle for everyone. It's the manner in which he was picked up. Hold on, y'all.
Groves is considered the most dangerous of the 10 men who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center in May. He was awaiting sentencing after being convicted on 2 counts of murder, and he's linked to 2 other murders. Orleans Parish DA Jason Williams says he will be held at Angola as he awaits trial on the new charges tied to the escape.
Now, I want y'all to see that man was, hold on one second, because I see something else was brought up in the chat. I'm going to address that as well. But baby, they had everybody out there besides the Navy, the Army, and the armed guards. I mean, the U.S. They should have called all branches of military for him since he was so dangerous. You know, he was just dangerous. They did not take a chance of driving him across. They did not want to take a chance of putting him on an airplane. Baby, they put him on a helicopter. Okay, they put him on a helicopter and said, this is how we finna get you back. Now, there was something else that was brought up in the chat, and that was the case of, what was this guy's name? Khalil, I think his name was Khalil. But there was another incident that happened at that facility. Hold on one second. We're going to look at it and we're going to talk.
Thank you very much. Now, you might remember this chaotic scene. This is 10 inmates breaking out of a New Orleans jail earlier this year. Well, we have an update for you. Another manhunt underway right now for yet another inmate, but this time officials say it was staffers at the jail who let him walk out. CBS News reporter Katie Weiss has details.
Just over 2 months after this brazen breakout from a New Orleans jail, another inmate is on the run. This time after officials say they accidentally let out 30-year-old Khalil Bryan.
Even though it was a mistaken release from custody, you are on notice, you are a fugitive.
The Orleans Parish Sheriff says Bryan's release was a clerical mistake. He was confused with another inmate set for release sharing a similar last name.
The mistaken release of Khalil Bryan was a serious error, and as sheriff, I take full responsibility. While our systems are designed to catch these discrepancies, human error led to a breakdown in the verification process.
Bryan has an active warrant for aggravated assault with a weapon, among other charges, and has a criminal history related to burglary, assault, and drug violations. In May, 10 inmates fled the same jail after ripping a toilet from the wall and escaping through the hole. All but one have since been caught. It's a case that put increased scrutiny on the sheriff, who called that escape an inside job.
So, funny how you accidentally let someone else out after all of this. I still feel like it was an inside job regardless, because how did you get out the front door? It's not like they left out of a rec yard door or any of that. They left out the front door of the jail. The front door. Where's the guard that was supposed to be there? Wait a minute, what did you say? Did I see a man carrying his belongings and the fall over? That picture didn't look right. It don't look right. It doesn't even sound right. Okay, if you've ever visited a jail, a prison, going in and out of there is not easy. So in order for them to get out of there, somebody had to help them do it. Because even with them getting out through a hole in the toilet, that led them to a corridor somewhere. How do you get to the front door with nobody? And then they're pulling on an electronic door, right? Nobody heard that noise. Nobody thought to go check it. Where was everybody? Yes, accidentally on purpose. Accidentally on purpose, child. And then you don't even know that they're gone for 10 hours. So did you let this other guy out by accident because he was supposed to be a part of the 10? And he didn't make it out and he threatened to talk? So you accidentally let him out? Child. Anyway. Y'all, I don't know what is going on out here in this world, but what I will say is be prepared, because Blueface is on the way home. Let's keep an eye on what is going on with the goings on when it comes down to Wack and Adam and Luce Cannon and this lawsuit that is being filed against them. Okay, because before it was just against Adam and White Pickle. Now they have added Evan and Jermaine Reed, Jay Reed have added Luce and Wack to the lawsuit. So it ain't just on Adam no more. And you know, Jeanita, we need answers. I'm hoping somebody gets us the full story soon, because I want to know. she sparked my interest. And as far as all of these inmates that were let out from that prison, I think y'all need to really do a better job. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all got to think, when Hurricane Katrina came, a lot of inmates were talking about how they were left in cells to drown and all types of stuff was happening to those inmates. So are you telling me that you let these people back into structures that were not sound? Y'all didn't bother to take the proper precautions once the structure was breached? Or are you saying that y'all are politically motivated into letting these prisoners go? And they're violent prisoners, according to them, allegedly. I don't know, because I don't know these people, but I'm just saying this is what they're telling us. But something is not right with that. Now, I know that there was a request. You're killing me with White Pickle. You calling him White Pickle. Well, that's the name of his business, White Pickle. In the words of Goddess, always remember to clean your pickle. They was clowning them bad here because Mobile and NOLA got a rivalry. Okay, well, I would be clowning them too if I was in Mobile. Well, good luck with that, because between Wack and Luce, you good for about 10 to 20 racks, if that. Child, you lucky if you get 2 racks. Anyway, I know Beyonce was asking me to do the Drake and the UMG. I have the paperwork, but I wasn't prepared to do that. So what I could promise to do is I could promise to bring that to you in a separate video, because we're going to have to go through all of it, like from the beginning to now, because I never covered it. So Derek has 2 new charges. Who is Derek? Who is Derek? They built another jail. So you mean to tell me, wait a minute, Trina, she said they built another jail. So you mean to tell me y'all built another jail and that jail was not structurally sound to house inmates? Because how are they ripping the electronic doors open, and how are they getting a hole behind the toilet? And it looked like the hole behind the toilet was purposefully left there during construction. Child. Oh, Derek, yes, he's getting new charges for escaping. Yes, they are giving him. I said, who's Derek? Sorry, y'all. Brain fart. Shout out to Beyonce and happy anniversary to her. Happy anniversary to Jessica. She said, thanks, Henny. You are so welcome. Y'all better thank Jessica, because Jessica is the reason why I came live, because I actually had forgotten. Well, I didn't forget. I had unlisted it, but I didn't know that it was going to come public. And she was like, people are over there waiting for you to go live. I was like, oh, shoot. Let me just go ahead. Let me get cute real quick and go live and give these people the hot Henny they waiting for. Mm-hmm. So we will definitely go through Drake, and Drake is definitely making a fool of himself, if you ask me. We will definitely give you that Aubrey drag that you would like to have, Beyonce, but we're not going to do it right now. But that's going to do it for this edition of That Girl Henny Reviews. Be sure that you like and share the video up. If you use my content, please be sure to put the link to my video in your description box and give me credit for the video that you use. I don't mind. Just give credit where credit is due, guys. Thank you for the super chat, Rakitha. She says, oh, it was a character. You're welcome. She said, thanks. I don't know. We'll talk behind the scenes. Anyway, thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in with your girl. I guess I will see you guys in the next spill. I will be a bit more regular with the content for y'all. But in the meantime and in between time, if you're on the replay, like this up,